everyone, Kyra Schaefer here at As You Wish Publishing and asyouwishpublishing.com. And I am so excited to get to do another Wednesday Wow with one of my most favorite people. I know you think I say, everyone's my favorite, everyone's Kyra's favorite. And that's true. You are all my favorite people. And Dina Faye Gilmore is like exceptionally beautifully wonderful. So I just want to introduce you all to her and just connect you with this amazing person that has been such a support, such an empowering and positive team member along the way when we've done collaboration books and we've done all different types of books at As You Wish Publishing. And I'm just going to go ahead and read you her bio. She's pretty awesome. I'm going to tell you right now, she's pretty awesome. So hold on, let me get you to where I'm trying to get to her bio here. All right. Dina Faye Gilmore is a 4-time best-selling author, international photographer, award-winning director, and filmmaker, screenwriter, former internet radio host for The Healing Journey, former spokesperson for Healing Hands division of the Arthritis Foundation, and podcaster. Through the art of storytelling in multiple genres, primarily drama with strong female leads, she thrives to create for the purpose of empowerment and inspiration in all forms. She is passionate about writing underdog characters, boldly overcoming obstacles. And today we're going to be talking specifically about creativity and filmmaking. And if filmmaking is not your thing, that's okay. I'm really interested in learning about this. And as you know, many times on the Wednesday Wows, I'm doing it for me and all of our millions of listeners. So please help me welcome the fabulous Dina Faye Gilmore. Hey.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about creativity. So I am not going to ask the question that everyone asks all authors all the time, which is, where do you get your inspiration? I'm not going to ask that. However, it might still come out anyway. Sometimes people ask authors and creatives, how do you get your inspiration? And there have been funny responses to that. Well, I actually have a mail-in order form that, gets shipped back to me, and it says, this is what is your inspiration for today. But what was it that sparks you when you start to think about or get an idea or something comes to you? Are you in any kind of state of mind or state of being that helps those things come in more readily?
Yeah, for me, a lot of my inspiration comes from other people I know, especially people who are struggling. And it's funny. I say it's funny, but it's not really funny. But It's like I'll look at what they're struggling with and I'm like, oh my God, there's a character right there. I'm going to help them get over that challenge by yada, yada, yada. Or a lot of times I'll look back at my life and I'll be like, I wish I would have had a coach, or I wish I would have had a mentor, or I wish I would have had a, something kind of thing that would help me along the line. So some of that comes from that, but ultimately a lot of my inspiration comes from when I get out in nature, like go walk by the water, because I'm a water sign. So water for me is creativity and flow and healing and just all kinds of goodness. So I love being able to put myself in places that inspire me, especially just people. People really inspire me. So I love to go to like coffee shops. Well, of course, this was a little different. It was kind of pre-pandemic, but I love to go to different coffee shops and just people watch and just get inspirations of, oh, she looks like a badass superhero mom, can overcome anything or, whatever. So I had some inspirations in the shower. I have them when I'm walking in my car. I mean, I never know. So a lot of times I'll use my voice memo on my phone because I just never know when it's going to come in. And I'm like, oh God, I can't remember all this,
Oh, that's so true. I love the voice memo on the phone. People say, well, I don't have time to sit down and write or, whatever. And I'm like, record it, put it on. There are plenty of uploaded places where you can upload your content, your MP3s, like teamy.com, TEMI. That's always I think a really terrific place that, and I think it's like 10 cents a minute or something like that if you don't want to sit down and write. And then you just have to go put it through like Grammarly.com or something and just get, like, you can use a lot of free resources out there as well. There's text to speech on Google Docs. And so, like, never feel like you have to just sit down. Now I've got to write a book right now. I think people think that that's the process, the creative process. So for you, it's going out into nature. I think there's something really cool about getting out of our normal day to day.
Yes.
And that kind of opens up some thoughts or creative ideas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And anytime you find yourself in a stress, because a lot of us, I mean, we're in a pandemic, a lot of us are kind of stuck at home or whatever. If you just change your setting, rearrange your bedroom, donate some things like that, that creates a freedom. It creates new space for yourself. So it doesn't have to be so hard, because as human beings, a lot of times we make things way harder than it needs to be. So sometimes it's simple as taking a shower. One of my roommates, or my roommate I have now, she takes a shower as often as she needs, because it's a clearing, it's a cleansing, and it is a form of allowing something to flow through you or come through you, kind of thing. So it doesn't have to be hard. And trust me, when it comes to books, it's a process. Sometimes it feels like you're birthing a baby.
It really does. It really does. Because, and I've heard this so many times from our authors, it's collaborative authors or solo book authors. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's so we own that chapter or that article or that piece. It is just as endearing as a solo book, and it's really transformative. So to me, it's so fun to open up and be creative, and then be creative with other people. That's
my
really
favorite.
Cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tell us about collaboration and connecting with people that you've either worked with in your film or other areas.
Well, collaborating, I honestly don't think I would be as far as I am in the filmmaking world if people wouldn't have seen my potential and be like, oh, I want to work with you. Oh, you seem like a natural at this. Let's create something. And, our energies kind of just feed each other as far as heightening, not to feed like a psychic attack kind of thing. So it's more empowering each other. And through a branding workshop at school, it was literally my screenwrite teacher had his mentor come in, who lives out in the LA area. She gave a workshop about your branding. And it was the simplest, easiest thing. Is she asked each one of us, if you could leave one word with the world with everything you create, what would it be? And I said, that's easy, empowerment. She goes, there's the name of your company. And so that's the story behind the name of my company, Empowerment Productions 33. Well, there was a nonprofit here who had Empowerment Productions. So I just added my favorite number to the end of it. I was born on March 3rd. But
oh, I love that. Yeah. I mean, there's As You Wish pottery, and there's As You Wish publishing. They want to do it. I don't know. Yeah. Arizona Department of Revenue, they were like, yeah, that's fine. That's different enough.
That's great. But for me, I love the collaboration piece, because it's so much easier not doing everything yourself, which I learned on my first film. I almost did everything myself. Mm-hmm. It will exhaust you. And it did. But there was little things I either had to let go of, or I missed, or, I just had to give up because I didn't have somebody to fulfill that role. So I really like the collaboration piece, because every person gets to share a little bit of who they are, their voice, their vision, their creativity, those kind of things. So the documentary we're working on right now is all collaboration. So even though I'm the director, my music director, my co-executive producer, she's part of the storyboarding process. She's part of everything that I do. So I'm not one of those directors of like, oh, it's my story, it's my vision, get out of here, which is what people have said they experience in the Hollywood industry. And I really didn't have any ambition to move to Hollywood because of that factor. I can't do what I do without other people. And so that's why I really thrive best in a collaboration, because I like to help people rise, like, fellow college students who'd be like, oh, hire me, our first film, every single college student was paid. Even our little, at the time, I think she was 10, our little supporting actress, she got paid. And so she did this cute little video and showed her opening her check and my first check. And she was just so
child labor laws, Dina. Child labor laws.
Yeah, we filmed in my house, well, the house I was living in at the time, my best friend's house, and it was just a beautiful process. And to see the excitement she had when she opened her first check, it was just like,
oh my gosh,
God.
Oh my God,
fantastic.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I remember I was selling vegetables door to door, and I made, I think, $14 that day, and I was like 6. I was like, yeah, this is the shit. This is what I'm going to do for my life.
Yeah.
I'm going to own my own business forever.
Totally. Yeah, totally. And it was, for her, that's big money. Cause when you're 10 years old, and you get a $50 check for a 2-minute clip, not even 2 minutes. It's probably less than 60 seconds clip of the film. She was just like, but it was important to be able to have a budget that we could work with and get everyone on the film paid. So that meant a lot.
It's huge. That's huge. That's huge. I mean, even with our authors, when we do collaboration books and we do a profit share, like I remember I was talking to one of our authors and I was like, so, I don't know what this profit share is going to look like. It could be $10. It could be not, and she's like, I don't care.
Right.
It's just about knowing I'm a professionally paid author right now. And that's important to me. And I love that about, our authors are just like the most stellar people on the planet.
Agreed.
Number one.
I love
and then so good. It's just good people, good community, big hearts. And so I know they're not doing it for this big giant paycheck. They're doing it to bring wisdom and kindness and support and also gain some traction as being an expert in their field and all that kind of stuff as well to the world, which I see you doing, as somebody in your field and multiple, you have just like you sent me your bio, which is 2 pages long. Right. And I'm like, how do I even start to begin to express your awesomeness?
Yeah, that was product of my I almost said publisher. That's you, of my producer who's out in LA. She was like, I need a 2-page bio because she was the producer on our first film, and it's been going like gangbusters. We're in over 70 festivals, been chosen all official selection 29 times. We've won 8 awards. That's huge for your first film, even though I can pick it apart and I'd be like, oh, that, I have sacrificed there, those kind of things. But it was my first, and I never would have known that would have become a passion of mine had I not gone back to college after almost 30 years to live out my only regret I had in life was not getting my art degree, my education. And it shifted. I went from, I thought I was getting my graphic design degree to digital media journalism because I've been a writer my entire life. I love it. It's just been a healthy outlet for me. And that turned into, we had to have 1 photography class and 1 filmmaking class. And in each class, I was like, hold the phone. I am addicted. Like, I want to do this the rest of my life until my hands just can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So I retired after 20 years of massage and I just went all in. I just had faith in myself finally for the first time. And it was time. But what was awesome about it, when I did, everything else in my life started to fall into place, like the 4 books. I was a full-time college student carrying 18 credit hours and still put out 4 books, collaborative books. So, you can be your own badass and don't compare yourself to anyone else.
I was like, I'm like, okay, she's full time. She's doing work. She's doing this. She's doing that. Oh yeah. You want to be in a collaboration book? Yep.
I just always knew and I would have done more, but
yeah, nobody tell yourself ever that you can't do it. Because you can. Speaking of which, we do have another collaboration book available. It's Ordinary Oneness. I'll put some of that links and posts and whatnot. So I'm very, very, and I actually had talked to you about it, you and Jeannie a while back. And I was like, yeah, I'm thinking about that. And then you were like, ooh, I like that title. Yeah. Like,
I've slept since then. Yeah.
And those are those things, that just hit you in inspiration. Like I was like, I don't think I'm going to do another collaboration book this year. And then I had like 6 people coming to me and saying, when are you going to do another one? When are you going to do another one? And I was like, girl, I am not doing another one. I'm not doing it. I won't do it.
Can't make me.
3 days later. I was like, okay, fine. Here it is.
Yep.
So so let me just read, we've got a couple comments. Rena Escalante, my girl. Hello, ladies. Hi, Rena. Roseanne Gruber Norris, takes one to know one, Kyra. See what I mean?
Yep.
These authors so cool.
Yeah.
So tell us, so you said you're working on a project now. I'm sure you can't divulge too much around that. But do you find that there are any challenges that you come across being creative and doing filmmaking and stuff like that? What are some of the things that you've worked through? You're like, oh yeah, I got that one locked down. I'm good.
Well, the hardest part, I think, too, is being a writer. You're really sole. You're really independent. So this is the first time, and I can't divulge any details about it, but this is the first time I was commissioned to write an original TV pilot for an episodic is what they call them. So it's a TV series, and it's amazing. So I can't share details because I promised my producer, who's out in LA. Most likely we're in talks about her being my manager of this project that came through from a production company that we're looking for this. So anyway, long story short, as I did that, she's got it. They're doing their thing with it. That's really independent, even though she worked with me on it. Filmmaking is a lot different, especially when you collaborate, because you really have to come from the same platform. Even though there's a lot of ego in filmmaking, you're doing yourself and your team a disservice if you're coming from ego. So if you come on that level playing field and let them all know that they have your respect, they have your trust, just give it to them in the beginning and know that you're just all a family, because not one person can do their job without the other puzzle piece. So you're just a puzzle piece that's coming together for this vision. The challenging part about that is when you butt heads, and that happens, and that's happened a lot on this documentary. But that's also the best part about being a director and a visionary, is it helps me grow as a person. I'll be like, oh, what am I up against right now? Okay, well, let me talk to one of my friends who actually do coaching for a living, and let me work through this. And it usually takes me 3 to 5 minutes, and I'm over it. So that's the most challenging part, is when you do collaborate, is being able to make sure you're seeing that other person's vision and that you're honoring and respect, because they're going to see something you didn't see. No two people are the same. And that's the beautiful part about collaborating, is it's literally sharing creative space and creating a unified vision. And a lot of times, don't be stuck in the mud, because it shifts, it morphs, it changes. That's the beauty of filmmaking. And sometimes frustrating, is our first go at this happened in the pandemic. You know, my alma mater asked me to do a project to direct and produce for them. And so within like 48 hours, it went from, it was just going to be this one play to, oh, let's do a documentary and bring in all the college students, and if other colleges want to participate. And it's like, it just grew like wildfire. And so anyway, it's about the Black Lives Movement and becoming anti-racist, meaning looking at my own racism, because I'm brought up in a world that is set for white people to succeed. It is not set for equality and equity, because we've had equality for quite some time, in a matter of speaking, but we've never had really equity. And equity just means that everyone has their place and their part, not based on race, not based on bias or any of those things. And so this project, it's really phenomenal. It's called Because Of, and it was formerly Because of George, but we didn't get permission from the family for the George Floyd death, so we just renamed it. Just to be honoring and respectful, because it really is more just than his death. And that was like a confusing underlying question for people. And so we just kind of changed that, but we're in production now. And so we're doing the interviews, things like that, because our first go round, which is what we had to scratch, was to have everybody film from home. And the quality was not there. The framing was not there. It just wouldn't have been good. And in order for all of us to really sign on as a production company, and I'm collaborating with another production, that, you know, none of us wanted to put our name to that, and it wouldn't have really honored the people who did those videos. So that's been, long story short, or long answer. The hardest part is sometimes you butt heads, and sometimes you just got to scratch what the original was and start all over.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm sure you know full well of that one.
Oh God, yeah. I know all about it.
Yeah.
Our main issues have been book cover design. That's
Oh.
that's like our, I get wholeheartedly attached and involved in my first book cover design mock-up. And then I could potentially get authors coming back and saying, I like that, but I don't love it. And I'm like, oh,
yep.
darn it. I really want to. But the thing is that at a certain point, and definitely some of what I'm hearing you say too, is you have to know when to go with your vision. Mm-hmm. So it's like taking in the information and then assimilating it and saying, okay, what's important here? What are we missing? What am I missing? What isn't coming through properly? Am I seeing this because I have this pinpoint view of reality? And that is something that is it happens a lot with book cover design and I'm sure movie poster design and different things like that. It's easy to get fixated on the original idea or the original thought and say this is the way, and then you go, wait a minute. If I'm getting feedback from all these different places, who's really wrong here? Or there's no one that's wrong, but who's really needing to take some initiative and vision and open it up and broaden it out a bit? Because that's something that, as being a publisher, I've had to do myself. I mean, there have been times where people have said, this is what I want my book title to be. And I'm like, no, that's not going to work. And it's like, no, it worked great. I'm like, oh, it's amazing and I love it. And why didn't I think of it myself? You're awesome. And so that's something that's so cool about being in this creative space with collaborative people, and a lot of people in it is one, holding that boundary, holding that line, being open to change, being open to movement and flow and possibility. But there is that trick that once you get all of these ideas, it can feel a bit overwhelming. And then sometimes I will scrap every idea and say, okay, what if I can't do any of that? What if I can't do any of that? Now what can I do?
Right.
And that is a powerful mental exercise, you guys listening. If you go through the list of all the things that you think you can do, and then put them all aside and see what else is there. Whoo, child, it is good stuff. Yep. I did that. I actually, you'll be proud of me, Dina, I think.
Always.
I don't know if it's you or not. But I wanted to camp more, and I was tired of tent camping, and I was like, hey, tent camping. I hate sleeping on the ground, and I hate cold, and I hate javelinas and bears and oh my, right? And so I'm like, I don't want to do it anymore. So I went through and I looked up scamps and teardrop campers and everything. I looked at everything. And then finally I was like, I don't have to spend $15,000 on a camper, or $20,000 or $30,000 or whatever they do. And I was like, okay, so what if I can't do any of it? What can I do? And the answer is Kyra spent $200 and built out the back of her pickup truck with a platform and the whole thing, and I could slide drawers underneath it. And man, I rednecked the shit out of that thing.
There
and
you
I
go.
am so happy. So happy because I scrapped the idea and I built something in a pandemic.
You got creative.
Sometimes creativity comes out of necessity or lack of money.
And let it be both. Yeah. Why not? Creativity is creativity. I mean, here's the thing to that is, like, when people get stuck or they don't see a new way like you did, is think what it would be if we were stuck with flip phones and you had to text with the number dial still. If somebody hadn't thought of what's a better way we can do this? I mean, that's how smartphones were created. I don't know about you, but I would be miserable if I was still stuck with my red Razor from Motorola. because of all the bugs it had, and it kept freezing my calendar, which I live and breathe by. Because even in a pandemic, I've stayed really busy. I've stayed really creative.
Me too.
And if I didn't have my calendar, I went through 5 Motorola razors, the red razors, before finally I'm like, I'm switching over to Apple. I'm sorry. I'm divorcing you people. And it was the best decision I ever made. But, I kept trying because I was believing in it, which is fine. But so much happier with an Apple iPhone. So, and then upgrading, over, I do it about every 3 years. I don't do it after every new one comes in because I'm generally happy with what I have for a while. But if I was still with the iPhone 5, that was about this little, and I can't see, I'm older, I'm nearly 50. I need a little bit bigger phone. So I got the 7 Plus, and I've had that one for years, and it's my favorite. But, think about how we would be stuck in technology if we just didn't collaborate and we didn't think of new and better ways, or we'd be stuck with the same old bugs because somebody's like, it's fine. I don't want to change it. I don't want to make it better.
We don't need to grow. We don't need to develop. That's fine. Racism is fine. Let's just, let's just stay there.
It works for me. I'm fine over here.
I'm fine.
That's the problem. People are stuck in, that's the way it's always been, or, it doesn't affect me. Yes, yes, it does. Not all lives matter unless Black lives matter. So why can't we be part of the big picture to change it, to demand that change, because it is stuck and it's not working. Yep. So that's not right. And, especially growing up gay in the South, I was very used to discrimination. I was used to not equality. I was used to not equity. And so I'm like, this is not right. And I have so many friends who are impacted by this that I'm like, how can I do my part? How can I be part of the change? Okay, I've got to be, instead of an ally, I need to move into being an advocate for change, demanding change, being that change. And then so that's why, one of my dearest friends, she's my co-executive producer, to make sure as a white person, I'm not speaking for Black lives. She can. I can't. But I'm respecting how the story needs to be told, because it's not my story, but it is my life of being a white woman, middle-aged, that's my ideal audience, is between like 25 and 65. And I say my ideal audience because it was my idea of how can I, as a white woman, make change in the world. I would like to see other white women be the change, not just, oh yeah, that's a good idea. No, come together. Let's collaborate on this. Let's change this broken down racist system.
Yeah.
And that's how it developed and started, morphing and changing.
Completely. And I mentioned this before when I was talking to Felicia Shaviri around talking about racism, is that the pandemic has helped us to have a deep breath, take a breath and go, wait a minute. What have I not been thinking about while I've been working, 50, 60 hours a week? What have I been missing?
Yep.
And it's like, oh yeah,
just going with the system.
Inequity. Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
And so in a broken system. And so it's so, and like I've also said in previous podcasts, is like, I'm not going to protest. Nobody wants me on that protest bus. I'll complain the entire time. They'll hate me for it.
Right. I'll be sitting right next to you.
Severe introvert over here. Yeah. And I would always, it probably gets, be an extrovert sitting right next to me trying to get me to open up. God bless.
And I used to be a complete introvert, but I learned how to be an extrovert. So most people take me as an extrovert, and I'm actually really not. I'd rather go take my dog and cuddle up and go write something by myself alone in my bedroom.
Me too.
Or coffee shop.
Me too, for
most
sure.
people are like, you're not an introvert. I'm like, oh, you have no idea.
Oh, you have no idea. Yeah, I love a stage. I can get on a stage.
I can't do that.
I can do this. You can't.
I've been on a stage. I don't prefer.
You're a great speaker. You're a great speaker. You spoke at our healer event, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, but I was a nervous wreck. I'm like everybody else. You try to pitch people in their underwear, and you're just like, oh no, I don't like that.
I don't want to see that.
I don't want to see you in your underwear. So that part doesn't work for me. So I'm still always a nervous wreck. I mean, I taught massage for 8 years, and I always felt like I was on stage teaching adult learners. So I'd tell them every single class, I know I've had you guys for 6 months, but I'm still really nervous to get up here in front and talk to you people. And they'd be like, really?
Oh,
I'm being vulnerable.
I get it. It's just got to start flapping my mouth. As soon as I start flapping my mouth, then it's like, and I won't stop talking until somebody says, "Hey, where's the hook?" And pull me off the stick.
I lose my thought because I'm so nervous. I can't stay focused.
Well, but like we've said before here, and you give me your thoughts as well. You do have somewhere that you can promote your understanding or your belief system or your support of those people who have been marginalized. We all have some way that we can connect to these ideas that matter and move us all forward as a culture.
Yep.
As one, as humanity. And so whatever that is for you, you might be surprised. There are so little things that we can all do. This is my little thing, with all the millions of listeners right now is that, I get to share space with Dina Faye Gilmore. I get to share space with Felicia Shavira. I get to share space with Tara Ije. I get to share space with Rena Escalante is going to be on the show. I get to share space with diversity in all forms. And to me, that is like the biggest gift that I can give myself, because I learn and grow and develop. I mean, just like what you just said, I can't speak for Black lives. I can't speak for them. But I can speak for my position and where I am and how I'm choosing to show up and support and be anti-racist and do what I can, because there are these varying degrees, or advocate. And so it's just taking this to the next level. So what are some things that you think, even in small ways, that people can change the world with their ideas, their voice, their being, just showing up in the world?
Just share them. Like for me, even though I've been a writer most of my life, I only showed my most intimate friends or people I was dating my poetry or my writings because I never felt I was good enough. And, if you can let go of the attachment to thinking negative thoughts about yourself and just be vulnerable and share. I mean, yeah, my writing, I get feedback all the time. This sucks, or yeah, that's not good, or change all of this up. And I'm just like, oh, so it takes me about 2.5 seconds to really get out of my own space, my own ego mind, to be like, oh, you know what? Actually, that is better. Or, oh, you know what? How about if I took a little bit of this right here and a little bit of that right there, and then we create this? So it's really a collaborative vision of, if you're stuck in your head and you don't think you're good enough, or you don't think you matter, any of those negative perpetual cycles that's in your mind, share that with somebody, be vulnerable with somebody, and verbalize that so they can help you get past that, because we are all born for a divine purpose that we get to choose if we act on that or not. So like, prime example, no, I can't speak for Black lives, but I can be damn sure I can be part of the change, because it has to come from the white community who has been so discriminatory and not based on equity. So, the gay community, even the LGBTQ community, we fought so long and hard just to have same-sex marriage, and it took a village to get that done. And it was one by one by one until other people started coming together, and then it was nationwide. Kind of the same thing. This has to be worldwide. So it's going to take every single voice to be that difference, to make that choice, to be a difference, and step into some bigger shoes for yourself. You don't have to be the same old you've always been. If you really are passionate about something, put it to work somewhere. Start something simple like volunteering, or, talking with someone that you admire. That was some of the best advice I got as a young person, is find somebody that you really admire, who's really successful, and just sit down with them 5-10 minutes. How did you get to be where you are? How did you get past such and such? How did you, those kind of things. So that's what I love about working with college students and going back to college and being one of the oldest people on campus, is those young minds that they're just like, well, how'd you get to be? Because I finally said yes to my life, to anything's possible, and not setting limits for myself. Because for a long time, people kept saying, oh, you got to choose to be a writer. Stay in that lane. Oh, you're going to be a photographer. Stay in that lane. Oh, you're going to do filmmaking. Well, you got to give up photography. No, I don't. I don't have to give up any of those because I choose not to. And they all bring me joy. If you have something that brings you joy in your life, do more of it.
Yeah, that's so great. And I went online to your empowerment production 33, and I looked at some of your photography. It is absolutely mind blowing. It's gorgeous.
Thank you.
It's gorgeous. And some of your black and white photography is just breathtaking. So at minimum. And then every other picture you've taken of you and me.
Yep. We don't have enough. We need more.
We do. Is amazing. I'm always blown away by your insight, your wisdom, your connection to spirit. Just that I always feel so at ease with you and connected to you, and just being around you always makes me feel good. I mean, really mean the world to me. I just want to give a shout out to Dorothy Welty. Hey, girl.
She is one of the biggest reasons I was so successful in college. She was my dean. So she was amazing.
Really?
Yes, Dorothy was my dean.
Not know that. Dorothy, girl. Hey.
She's an amazing writer.
She is an amazing writer, and she's actually going to be publishing a solo book with us.
Woo!
She is going. I'm going to bring it out. I'm bringing it out, Dorothy. I'm telling everybody your secrets.
Look at all these amazing lives you're bringing together and the differences you make. And that's it. You're just saying yes to other people and to yourself. Simple. Yeah, but we make it hard.
Yes. Doris, she says, "Hey there, Dina."
I miss you.
She is such a sweetheart. And we've had her in our Build Your Brilliant book class. She's been our collaborative books. And she is also going to do her solo book with us with Easy Publish. And I'm just I just get so blown away by how the web of interconnectivity happens when well, first of all, let's just give Dina a shout out for this one, because I said, "Hey, Dina, how you doing?" And then she told everyone about me.
Yep. I
was like, "Oh, wow, I didn't have a business before, Dina. Now I have a business."
I don't know about that, but that's too kind. But yeah, it's the difference you make and how I see the lives that you change. From when I first started on campus, I got like 3 classmates who also became best-selling authors because they were in similar spaces as me, where they just didn't share their writing with other people. I'm like, "No, you're good. Like, you're really good. You need to share this." Like Bruno, who shared, and then he became the award winner.
He won. Yeah, he won the award for Rising Star Award.
I told you. And I'm really connected to spirit. So I'm a shamanic practitioner too. So I do a lot of spiritual work. And that's one reason why I like this, is because it's another avenue for my storytelling that helps uplift others, because it's not just about me over here. Everything I do really needs to come from a place of passion that comes from within. But the ultimate goal is to impact others and other lives and uplift, because it takes a village. I mean, seriously, you can't do anything and everything by yourself. And why would you? You don't need all that stress when you have so many people who probably adore you.
It's fun. It's so much fun.
It is so much fun. So that was easy to promote you because I see the difference you're making, and I saw your light. My light saw your light and acknowledged that. And I'm like, "Oh, heck yeah, raise this girl up, because everybody should be part of this family. This is too much. This is too good not to share."
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. It's bringing people a voice, and you're doing that with your production company. And there's so many good things that are coming from that authenticity that you share with the world, and just real, genuine, and honest. It makes all the difference in the world. So thank you for being who you are, Dina. What you do is magical. It really is. It's really magical. And I think you and I share that same idea of giving people opportunity that wouldn't normally have opportunity. I mean, I remember being in high school, and there was always this one girl that got picked to do the, musical. or the show. And she's
Yeah.
the same one that was in the same damn musical every single year for 4 years. And she would be the same star of the show. And I would just be like, I know not everybody is as good as she is, sure. But can't you just give some of us other people a chance? So I think I felt, I think I felt that way. And I also just from another repressed kind of place of not being allowed to express myself, that once I realized that publishing could be and should be accessible for everyone.
Yeah.
That to me just became a driving force. I'm like, yeah, we have the same like 5 gurus out there, but there is like tons and tons of talent in this world that is yet to be discovered. And I want them to be discovered. I want them to be discovered. I want everyone to be discovered. Okay, I'm going to say something really provocative. I don't know if I even should. Okay. I'm going to do it anyway, and let's see where the chips fall, and if I get killed with sticks and rocks. Here we go.
Okay.
So what I noticed, or what I've been noticing, and maybe I'm wrong, and I'm completely and totally 1,000% open to being wrong, is that I want to give people of color opportunity. I definitely want to do that. And the thing is that I feel like they don't know. Sometimes people of color don't realize or don't know because they've never experienced a time where they were a priority. That's generalizing, but in many cases, I think that that's true.
Yeah.
To even know that they are allowed to ask for such things, or to raise their hand and say, I want to be in that play. I want to be in that production. I want to be in that book. I deserve to have a book. I want to be a solo author. You know, like I feel, and like I said, it's a big generalization, and maybe it's incorrect, but it feels like there's an overarching, like, okay, guys, let's do this. And they're like, wait a minute, I don't know if I can or not.
Right.
You know, am I allowed?
Right.
And I think that that may be true. Do you think I'm completely off base? Should I be killed with sticks?
Not at all. Nope, because that's only a small piece of it. So here's the thing that I got reality once I really started educating myself and expanding myself about, you know, breaking down the way I was raised and the systems that we're raised in, is every single Black mother or mixed has to teach their children, always watch your back. Always watch your back when you walk out that door every single day, because you might get shot, you might get killed, you might get discriminated against. 99% of the time, you probably will be discriminated against, or worse, be killed. I worry about you. And I'm not even a mother. You know, I couldn't bear children. So it's like every child in the world is my child because I choose to make a difference in their lives. You know, I would never replace their mother, be their mother, but in a way, hopefully I can help lift up, you know, what is so wrong in the world. Like Elijah McClain, who I think that I got the last name right, McClain, was in Aurora, Colorado. We didn't know about it until a year later. That 23-year-old kid was a massage therapist. Being a massage therapist means you give up pretty much everything that means something about you, and you are focused on that person on your table day in, day out, whether it's 4 massages, 6 massages, 8 massages, whatever. You are solely focused on that person. And so if you're already being raised of, it's never about me because I got to blend in, I have to be invisible or I might get killed, huge, huge part of the puzzle of being equitable in the world that has to change. Can you imagine raising children who are of color or mixed race that you have to teach them every day? Now be careful today. Now be careful. I'm worried about you. Make sure you text me when you get to your spot. Make sure, I mean, they live and breathe fear every second of the day. Can we say that about our lives? No. We'll never understand. We'll never get it. And even though, you know, growing up and always knowing I was gay, I still can't compare that, because that was when I was in a dark alley in Dallas, Texas, you know, that I had to worry about, God, make sure I'm not holding another woman's hand, or make sure I don't look too gay. those kind of things. That was a moment or second in my life, not my entire existence. And that's the level I really want people to understand of, you got to be the change, because how would you like to walk out your door or not walk out of your door because you're terrified that someone's going to kill you based on your skin color, that you can't change? You shouldn't want to change. People, the skin bleaching is a thing that is horrific to know that they feel like they have to change themselves in a physical manner to fit in. No one should ever have to feel like they fit in. That's the beauty of all people being different. Be unique, stand out, be you, be beautifully you. So you don't fit in somebody's mold or thought of how you're supposed to be. I wouldn't be doing half the things I am if I did that, because I grew up always thinking I was, for lack of a better word, I used to get told, what are you, retarded? Because I'm dyslexic and ADD. I was an extremely slow reader. I'd read the same paragraph 10 times, but that's what they would say is, you're retarded. And I really can't stand that word, because I was just visually challenged and I'm a slow learner. Now, with that being said, if people know how I learn best, like, let me process it. You show me, then let me do it, because I'm a visual learner. So I need to see it first, then let me try it. Then you got me. Or let me read a book that brings me interest, those kind of things. So it's literally just understanding people and understanding, if you don't understand what their life is like, ask them. Don't just say, well, how do I need to educate myself? How do I need to be? No, what's it like for you? I'm not understanding. So how can I best make sure your interests are taken in consideration? Or, what do you need in this moment? Because they don't get asked that. People don't get asked that. What do you need in this moment? Because humanity, society is so ego-driven and so self-driven that there's blinders on, and you just got to throw those blinders away, and you just got to be able to see the big picture and see those people in front of you. And if you see something, say something. Don't
That's the
allow.
That's what makes you an anti-racist versus someone who is who I don't remember all the terminology, but who's an advocate, or who's it's being an anti-racist is saying there's something wrong here and I'm willing to step into this.
Yep. That's exactly right. So that you are part of creating equity. So if you don't see it, see how you can be part to create it.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean you have to fight. You don't have to get into a fist fight with someone. There are ways to neutralize situations. And to bring peace into a situation that might be difficult. And we see that. I see that on YouTube. I see that in lots of places where it's de-escalating arguments or things like that could potentially be dangerous for a person of color. And advocating. Just advocate. I mean, I got lambasted. I think that's a word. I don't know,
but I love it.
We don't know. It seems like, is that a word? Okay. Yeah. Well, anyway, I got talked down to.
Yeah.
For saying that I voted Democrat.
Oh yeah, there's a huge people. Here's the part that I don't understand.
Listen, how can you make throwing stones at you in your yard? I'm not coming to your house and throwing stones at you. You just chill out, man. I'm just making my point.
And race is not political. Hardly anything is political. If you really look at it, human beings, when did we get political? I don't care. Let's have an orange party. As far as that's what's broken. Tear down the broken system and build one that is built on equity. We've never had it. We don't know a world built on equity. So why not create it from scratch by making sure we have that representation, a big picture, if you will, instead of just the little detail over here. Oh, I have equity. I have a Black person on my staff. No, not good enough. Do better. And that's the biggest thing is just do better. Do better. I don't care how you think. I mean, I had to do better for myself in order to get it about another person, because when I first started this, I was like, oh my God, I'm racist. Because it was
I did too.
I did admit that. I was like,
I'm the worst human.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just had to break it all down of going, okay, how
Yeah.
can I do better? How do
Yeah.
I show up better and make an impact for, the whole world, as far as helping be those stepping stones or those blocks to get a better world? Because right now our world is cray cray. It's just broken and cracked and just, it's got so much going on.
I know
So
there is so
one more
much to
thing
focus on,
I heard.
and some of it is a part of the dysfunction. It's a distraction.
Mhm.
It doesn't need our attention. So we've got to decide what it is that that is important for us to draw our focus upon. And I think for me, it is the anti-racist movement that's happening in this world. To me, that's a valuable, viable space to put my love and attention and care.
Yep.
And even though you might come to that even if you feel like you've done everything right, keep doing everything right.
Right.
Keep being your awesome self, keep being an advocate, keep being a good person,
Yep.
and if somebody says, well, yeah, I do those things, but I'm not a racist.
Right.
Okay, you don't have to own that label if you don't want to. And I would also invite you to open up to the possibility that there's a lot of information out there, and maybe learning a few new things, even if you think you don't need to. Try it out, see what happens. Talk thoughtfully to a person of color and just see their position. If they're open to having that conversation, and if they're not, that's okay too.
Because it's not a matter of making somebody wrong. That's where
No.
I think the disconnect is people think that we're calling them wrong or saying they're wrong, and that's not it at all. They were just a product of the way the system is created. So the system is just not built for equity. That's it. There's no blame, shame, none of that stuff. Just look at yourself, what your beliefs are, what you don't see. Like, I did an interview yesterday for the documentary, and it was like, when you look at management, how many people of color are in upper management, CEOs, COOs, things like that? Not very many. They're usually on a lower level or lower positions kind of thing. So it's just being aware. It is literally taking those blinders off. And if you are nothing else from this, is just get out of your comfort zone. Be getting uncomfortable by being in conversation. That's really what this is, because it's through conversation that you get to grow, you get to shift, you get to morph, and you get to make an impact on another life, which is really what this is. I mean, if this was all self-driven, our world would, for lack of a better word, would be a shit show. It would just be everybody out for themselves, which is kind of what it feels like right now. So we have to do better as a human race. And it has to start with us as the white community to make that impact. So that's where my creativity is really focused now, is where can I make the biggest impact? And it's with white community, white women who, women, we didn't even get to vote until, what was it? The 30s, the 20s, somewhere around in there. But even
I don't
then,
know my history.
yeah, even then, it's still like so many women feel like they have to fit a mold. Break out of the mold. You just have to be you. Oh, I got to be a mother, so I can't do this. Oh, I've got to be a leader, so I can't do this. Oh, I've got to be you don't have to be a something except.
I love that. Yourself. That is like the whole message here, I think, is that, if, saying I'm too old to do this, I can't go back to school. Okay. Dina says, no. I have to choose a path and stick to it. Dina says, no. I can only do one creative thing, and that's the only thing I can focus on. Dina says, no. And I have to stick to this perspective, this mold. This is who I have to be. Dina said, no, break that shit up. And there we go. I think we've got a solid message for this conversation that says, oh, wait, question everything. Question everything. Is that 100% true? Absolutely not. Yeah. Dorothy.
And no one's perfect in the world. So break that falsity.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, you're not perfect.
No. No one and nothing
and you don't
is.
have to be.
We live in that world. That's Stepford Wives. We don't want that crap.
No, I like different. I like messy. Yeah. I do. I've gotten so comfortable with having uncomfortable conversations because I've had a lot of them. And even in these interviews, I've been having a lot of uncomfortable conversations in front of millions of people.
See?
So I keep calling it into reality.
Just be open. What were you saying about Dorothy, though? I think I had.
Oh, Dorothy said, she said she misses you. She did say that lambasting is a word, but I'm not sure if the word I use is actually used correctly in context.
Thanks, Dorothy.
And Roseanne says, you both are awesome. Millions should be here. Should be. They are. They'll get it eventually.
Yep. People who need to see it will see it. And if they don't, maybe they're not ready yet. So it's another form of not making each other wrong. And you'll get it when you get it. Or just be a better version of yourself tomorrow.
That's right. That's right. That's all we can do. All we can do. So I'm super excited about your documentary that you're working on. We can't totally talk about everything, but I cannot wait. I love that you are connecting people with these ideas and bringing them information in new creative ways to help them make better choices for their life. That's incredible. So is there anything you'd like to leave our friends with? Any final messages here?
Don't believe everything everyone says, because if you did, you probably wouldn't get or not get where you'd want to go. Just believe in yourself. Like, I literally have it tattooed here on my wrist, somewhere in there. There we go. Have it tattooed facing me to remind myself to believe in me, because anything is possible if you just open yourself up and expand. And it has to come from love within. You know, RuPaul said it best when he said, if you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love anyone else? So it's just all coming back from a love of yourself and love of one another. You know, we have to coexist, and we got to create an equitable coexistence.
Absolutely. And that is why she is a director, a filmmaker, a photographer, a writer, an entrepreneur. That's why she is.
All the things that bring me joy. So do more of that.
That's right. And she trusts us with her words when she publishes with us in the books that she's been in, and hopefully many more to come.
I wouldn't imagine anybody else. So thank you.
Oh, yay! I love you, girl. So, guys listening, thank you so much for sticking with us till the end. I love you. I appreciate you watching these videos. Thank you for letting me be messy from time to time and get ideas out and be uncertain. I'm grateful to you for that. And in return, know that I will be that for you as well. You can be messy with me. And at As You Wish Publishing, like I mentioned before, we are doing Ordinary Oneness, which is another collaboration book. If you want to get your feet wet and get your words out to the world and let people know what peace is to you and how you can find that in everyday life, I would love for you to join our book. And that's at asyouwishpublishing.com/collaboration. So you can find it out there. And Dina, again, thank you so much for being our guest today. I love you, love you, love you. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. And guys, again, thank you. asyouwishpublishing.com. I'm Kyra Schaefer. I got to speak today with Dina Faye Gilmore, and I will be talking to you all very soon. It's thinking.
It's still live. I love it.
She's a thinking. Come on, computer.
Now I hear Jeopardy. Laughter. Such good.